Hello, I'm Valdivia, and today I will be presenting my persuasive speech on whether or not school uniform should be mandatory throughout the U.S. I'm currently at a show site, so it is kind of loud, but I will try speaking as loud as possible to be heard as best as possible. This is my audience member right here. There is currently a COVID surge happening in our core, so that's why I have such a small audience in comparison to the other ones. But let me get started shortly. All right. Clothing. The thing we're found with all throughout our lives. From minutes into our entrance to this world to the moments leading up to our exit, it is something that is found with us. It's really no wonder why it's been such a widely debated topic among all student bodies throughout the U.S. The topic of whether or not uniforms should be mandated in schools has been widely debated for the past decades, and I believe that uniforms should be regulated and required in all schools because it is economically effective, allows for less social pressure, and it just makes things a lot simpler in the end. Although there is some discomfort and limits on self-expression, there are and will always be exceptions and adjustments that can be made to fix this. So let's get into it. To start, uniforms are economically effective because they are cheaper in the long run. Typically, in every teens, they go through phases of what they like in terms of clothing and are able to, what is cool, what the trends are in terms of fashion. And although this is just normal for adolescents and teens, but it really does rack up to be quite expensive in the end. Every 2 weeks, a family will be purchasing a few outfits for one or all their children, and eventually it can be quite a lot of money that's spent. With uniforms, all the shopping is done at the beginning of the year, and because of this, they are able to just be predetermined what is spent, and that set of uniform is what is going to be worn throughout the entire year for however many school years it lasts. According to the Western Virginia Academy, uniforms allow for a family swap that can reduce this price. So schools also have a lot of deals that can happen. At my school, particularly, we have a tax-free week that if you purchase all the uniform within that 1 week, they're able to reduce your tax. They actually eliminate all taxes, and if you spend over $100, you get entered into a raffle that allows for your entire uniform to be paid off without any expenses to the family. So it's overall a really good deal that can be made. And taking a step further, hand-me-downs also exist. If a family has a lot of students and purchasing uniform for every single one of them is expensive, they can just pass down worn uniforms that are still viable to a younger sibling in the end. Another reason why uniform should be regulated and required by all schools is because it reduces social pressure. Bullying is huge in the U.S. and throughout the world. It's been actually gradually rising throughout the past years, and cyberbullying and all of that. And clothing provides a means for children to be targeted, whether or not they can afford cool clothing or they're able to fit in with the rest of them because maybe the kids who dress emo or goth-like are not being accepted as the others. And that's schools that allow their students to wear whatever they want kind of allow for an open door in terms of bullying. Uniforms fix this issue. Uniforms allow everyone to be wearing the same thing, and therefore no one sticks out because it is all just the same for everyone. It allows the focus to be less on, oh, am I going to be accepted for what I'm wearing? And it allows that to become more focused on schoolwork and grades, which is overall just more beneficial for the students and society as a whole. There's higher confidence. They don't get as really don't worry about their appearance for others. And according to the United States Department of Justice, school uniform may decrease violence and theft and help students concentrate on their schoolwork. So even the Department of Justice agrees with this sentiment. Another reason why uniforms should be mandated is because it just makes life overall simpler. Whether or not a student should wear this or that in the mornings can really be time-consuming and stressful. I know for myself and all the other people I talk to, going out and choosing an outfit that really represents who I am can be quite stressful, and I find myself having so many different options and stressing out over whether or not they're going to look at me like this or like that for wearing this certain outfit. So it just, because everything's so predetermined, it just makes things a lot easier for the parents picking out outfits for the younger kids or for the teens picking out their own outfits. Additionally, it makes administrators' lives easier because the dress codes that they put in place are not really representative of all sorts of clothing, since it is limited to just uniforms. So they just have to really focus on how exactly the uniform should be worn and make that clear to all students. So it makes their jobs a lot easier. However, not everyone agrees with these points, and these are the reasons why. The number one reason is it limits expression. Although uniforms do limit some expression in terms of what children can wear, there are still times for individuality, such as hair being dyed, tattoos, piercings, and their shoes. My school, for example, allows all these things to be at the students' free will, and additionally, they allow for dress down days where a student can pay $1 to wear whatever they want for that school day. Another point of opposition is outside bullying. They think that because students are wearing certain clothing that other schools may not, it can allow a means for other school students to bully other school students that wear uniforms. Although this is true, uniforms build a sense of cohesion within the student body, and they can really bring them together, and they can defend each other against other bullies like that because they all wear the same thing and it's a common ground for them. Additionally, another point is that it causes discomfort and resentment, but there are always arrangements that can be made. My school, for example, allows for khaki pants to be, and this is a very general requirement because they are able to, they have to wear this, just khaki pants, but it can be any khaki pants. It can be shorts, long bottoms, and it can be from any brand. So there are arrangements that can be made, or general rules like that that allow for some sort of leeway. And we can take it a step further. Mandation of uniforms can be done by starting at the county level, and by doing this is you guys can, as a general audience, are able to bring this up to the city council and bring up to your friends and family to allow them to agree with you and be able to push this a step further. So in conclusion, uniforms should be mandatory for several reasons, such as decreasing social pressure, being economically effective, and for making things simpler. You can do your part and help push this agenda, and although it's just clothing, it really determines a lot of things in our lives because we're always wearing clothes. So, thank you, that ends my speech. And this is my audience member standing up because we have to go. Thank you.